At 0314 UTC, the ESA observatory in Tenerife captured something it wasn't expecting. A hyper-faint object threading through the stars at a speed that didn't match any known trajectory. A visitor, not from Earth, not from our solar system. This is only the third interstellar object ever recorded passing through our cosmic neighborhood. But unlike Oumuamua or Borisov, this one behaved differently. Why did its brightness pulse every 6 seconds? Why did ESA release images, then lock the server minutes later? And why, within hours, did NASA silence all updates on its tracking page? What did they see that they weren't ready to explain? According to ESA's night log, 3I Atlas entered view with a vector that seemed to decelerate against solar influence, which should be impossible. No natural object can slow down when approaching the sun, unless it's under control. Moments after that notation, the public data feed vanished. Archived frames were redacted, and ESA, for the first time in years, released only 3 still images, no telemetry, no spectral readout. In those frames is a story the agencies won't tell, a faint glint that suggests structure, a motion pattern that doesn't fit gravity, and a silence that spreads from Tenerife to Houston to Washington, D.C.
The problem is that we got the latest image and it looks like a single object in the middle. So we don't know what is going on. Of course, it's possible also that these are thrusters from a technological object.
If 3I Atlas is just another rock from the void, why did 2 space agencies shut their feeds in sync? Before the silence, before the blackout, the night was routine. The European Space Agency's Deep Sky Survey was scanning a corridor between Leo and Cancer. A quiet stretch, rich in dust lanes, nothing unusual. 3:12 UTC atmospheric conditions, near perfect. Instrument, 2.5-meter wide-field telescope with adaptive optics calibrated for fast-moving near-Earth objects. Analysts were expecting satellite debris. Instead, a blip entered from interstellar coordinates. Right ascension 10 hours 44 minutes. Within minutes, cross stations in Chile and Namibia confirmed the object, its velocity, over 80 kilometers per second relative to the sun, too fast to be native. Its albedo, reflectivity patterns inconsistent with rock or ice spectral analysis hinted at polished alloy, or something like it. The designation 3I was assigned, the third confirmed interstellar object in human record. The suffix Atlas came from the first detection array, but the system itself would later be scrubbed of the initial frames. In less than 25 minutes, a cross-Atlantic data link turned into coordinated silence. Even routine amateur tracking portals returned blank sky maps. It wasn't a glitch, it was a handoff. Imagine trying to photograph a bullet mid-flight, while the bullet changes direction. That's how analysts describe 3I Atlas. Its light curve oscillated, suggesting rotation, yet its trajectory flattened near perihelion. Models indicated a propulsion-like counterforce, as if the object adjusted its path. Natural forces can't do that without mass ejection, but no tail, no outgassing, just silence and a slowing trace. Inside the Tenerife control bay, technicians watched the signal flatten and fade. One operator wrote in the logbook, "Object appears to pause." Then, his line ends mid-sentence, connection lost. By dawn, the only public evidence left were 3 compressed JPEGs. No raw data, no trajectory plot. To understand what could make an interstellar object decelerate, we need to understand the system that tracked it, and how our instruments translate light into motion. Because what came next wasn't just an object in the sky, it was a test of everything we thought we knew about motion in the void. To understand what ESA saw that night, we need to understand how it sees. Each night, an array of telescopes across Europe, Africa, and the South Pacific works as one. A synchronized lattice of optics, radar, and radio spectroscopy. Together, they map thousands of fast-moving objects, satellites, asteroids, even space junk. Every flicker of light is converted into coordinates, velocity vectors, and predicted orbital arcs. It's a process refined over decades. No human bias, just math. In theory, when an object enters our detection window, Three simple metrics define it: brightness, motion, and redshift. From these, we derive what it's made of, where it came from, and where it's going. Even Oumuamua's strange cigar shape still followed the laws of celestial mechanics. It sped up slightly as ice sublimated under sunlight, cause and effect. Predictable. 3i Atlas broke every rule in that sequence. First, its reflectivity spiked and dropped at perfect 6-second intervals. Too uniform for tumbling rock, too consistent for gas outbursts. That pattern looked engineered. Second, its spectral return contained a narrowband emission line near 10.3 microns, an infrared wavelength sometimes associated with vaporized alloys, but no known comet gives off that signature. Third, and most disturbing, was its trajectory correction. Telemetry shows a deceleration of roughly 0.3 meters per second squared, opposite to solar influence. In simple terms, it slowed down when gravity should have sped it up. To achieve that, it would need either directed thrust or an external force we haven't cataloged. Imagine tossing a stone into a river and watching it stop midstream. No splash, no friction, just suspension against the current. That's what ESA's instruments recorded: a cosmic pause. Engineers double-checked the data pipeline. Calibration errors? None. CCD burn? Negative. Cross-confirmation with Namibia array? Identical anomaly. It wasn't noise, it was deliberate motion, or the illusion of one. When the data reached NASA's mirror servers, the response was immediate. Scheduled briefings were canceled, press access revoked, and an internal memo flagged the observation as preliminary non-natural signature, pending analysis. Within hours, both agencies went dark. No statement, no explanation. But data isn't the only thing that vanished. The observers themselves, those who first logged the anomaly, went offline for 72 hours. When they returned, their accounts were silent. Next, one of them speaks. A single human line that changes everything. For 72 hours, nothing. No posts, no statements, no leaks. Then, one entry appeared in the system log. This is Technician 3. If anyone hears this, I think we saw it change direction. The data buffer froze for exactly 1 frame. When it resumed, the object was 10 arc seconds off prediction. That shouldn't happen. Not at that speed. He never finished the recording. Technician 3 was one of 4 operators on duty that night at Tenerife. Early 30s data specialist. 5 years on the Deep Sky Survey. His colleagues describe him as precise, meticulous to a fault. After the blackout, he reportedly left the facility. Across agencies, the same story repeated. Operators reassigned, servers reformatted, inquiries redirected to departments that didn't exist. For those who witnessed the anomaly firsthand, silence wasn't optional, it was policy. Imagine being the person who saw an object move against the sun and being told it didn't happen. 3 weeks later, an unsigned message reached an independent astronomy forum. The account was anonymous. The metadata traced back to a location near the Canary Islands. Within an hour, the message was deleted, but not before being archived by users who monitor ESA metadata leaks. These were not conspiracy theorists. They were scientists, engineers, technicians, people who believed in evidence, in data, in verifiable truth. And yet, for the first time, they were told to look away. But even silence leaves a trace. When official channels froze, the data didn't disappear, it rerouted. Fragments survived on backup mirrors, in redundant nodes, in forgotten caches. Those fragments would later form the backbone of an independent reanalysis, one that revealed something the agencies never released. Because buried in that noise was a second object. When the silence lifted, curiosity rushed to fill the void. Independent analysts, data scientists, astrophysicists, even AI hobbyists began piecing together what the agencies had left behind. From those fragments emerged 3 leading theories, 3 ways to explain the impossible. Theory 1. The natural anomaly. The first theory stays closest to established science, that 3i Atlas was natural but extreme, a shard of a shattered exoplanet, its surface so reflective it mimicked artificial glint. Some models suggest a high nickel-iron crust, dense enough to interact faintly with solar magnetic fields. If the object's rotation aligned just right, those magnetic interactions could, in theory, create a pseudo-deceleration, a kind of cosmic braking illusion. It's elegant. It keeps the mystery within physics, but it doesn't explain the 6-second pulse. Theory 2. The instrument illusion. The second theory doesn't question nature, it questions perception. Could the deceleration have been a glitch born from the instruments themselves? Under this model, the pause and shift were artifacts, caused by signal compression, cross-latency between telescope nodes, or even misaligned timestamps across systems. It would mean the object never changed speed at all. We just thought it did. But cross-confirmation from Namibia and Chile, recorded with different hardware, makes that theory harder to sustain. Theory 3. The controlled object. Then there's the third theory, the one scientists hesitate to voice out loud. If 3I Atlas truly decelerated against gravity, without any visible exhaust, it could indicate controlled motion, not necessarily artificial, but responsive. Supporters of this idea point to the 6-second signal modulation, a rhythmic pulse, like a beacon, not random, not natural, but deliberate. Skeptics argue extraordinary claims require extraordinary proof, and right now, proof is missing. Some believe we're seeing an entirely new class of interstellar debris, others, a sensor calibration quirk at cosmic scale, and a few whisper we're witnessing technology older than us, operating beyond our equations. In every lab, the same refrain echoed: if it's not a rock and not a glitch, what's left? To test these competing models, independent teams reanalyzed the only 3 ESA frames that survived. They didn't just enhance them, they rebuilt the data from scratch, pixel by pixel. And what they found wasn't a shape exactly. It was a pattern, one that shouldn't appear in natural reflection at all. Next, new evidence emerges, and the mystery of 3I Atlas changes from observation to message. Months after the blackout, open-source astronomers began doing what the agencies never could: rebuilding the lost frames. Not speculation, simulation. Every pixel recalculated from archived telemetry pings. Their goal was simple: remove compression noise, recover truth. At first it looked random cosmic noise, but under spatial frequency analysis, a repeating symmetry appeared. A triangular modulation, every 6th frame. Statistical models show the odds of such regularity in natural reflectance are less than 1 in a million. It wasn't proof of intent, but it was impossible to ignore. The enhanced frames revealed 3 equidistant peaks of luminosity forming a stable triangle, moving as one body, not tumbling debris. Analysts dubbed it the Triskelion signature, a shape echoed in magnetic field lines and propulsion plume patterns. 2 models, 1 dataset. Both explain the pattern, neither fits the motion. Then came an overlooked clue: background radio data from an amateur array in Australia. When synchronized with the ESA timestamps, a narrow band pulse appeared, offset by exactly 6 seconds. It wasn't language, it wasn't noise, it was rhythm. Independent reviewers caution: the alignment could be coincidence, but coincidence repeating at cosmic scale begins to look like design. Faced with mounting public analysis, the agencies reopened their models under the neutral term non-gravitational anomaly. Officially, no conclusions. Unofficially, quiet astonishment. Reconstructed frames exhibit structured reflectance inconsistent with random morphology. Continue monitoring sector RA, 10 hours 44 minutes. Further disclosure not recommended until verification. It wasn't confirmation. It was curiosity, finally acknowledged. In the end, the new evidence raised more questions than answers. Was 3I Atlas fragment of unknown chemistry reflecting order where none existed? Or was it something built, an echo from another civilization's forgotten machine, drifting through time? Science demands restraint. Wonder demands we keep looking. Because somewhere beyond those final frames, something moved once, against gravity, and left a pattern in the dark. While the instruments slept, humanity reacted. The mystery leaked into living rooms, feeds, and late-night radio. One object, 3 images, and 1,000 interpretations. Some called it proof of cosmic visitors. Others, a camera glitch made myth. Yet beneath the noise, quiet voices in research forums asked better questions. What do we do when the data stops answering us? For some, 3I Atlas became a mirror held up to science itself, a reminder that discovery isn't clean. It's uncertain, political, human. Across observatories, conversations turned from evidence to philosophy. What if recognition is a kind of contact? What if the act of observing rewrites the observed? Every era meets its unknown Galileo's moons. The first cosmic radio burst. Now, a frozen frame of light called Atlas. Each time, fear walks beside wonder. Public forums fractured. Scientists argued signal-to-noise ratios while artists painted what they felt. Somewhere between them, truth waited. Silent, statistical, and patient. Because the sky isn't sending us answers, it's sending invitations. To keep watching, to keep asking. Every anomaly is a door disguised as data. For the first time, we have data that behaves like a mirror, reflecting not only sunlight, but our need to find intention in randomness. Every analyst who touched those frames admits it. The line between instrument noise and intelligence has never looked thinner. If it is structured, then it speaks to an engineering scale beyond our comprehension, a civilization that treats gravity as just another variable to edit. And if it's not, then nature herself just demonstrated a geometry we've never seen. Proof that physics still has secrets to teach. Either way, our instruments did something unprecedented. They pointed outward and touched mystery. Now the dilemma isn't what we saw, it's what we should do next. Do we keep looking, risking obsession over every flicker? Or do we turn away, protecting the calm illusion that we already understand the void? History shows the same pattern. Discovery, denial, acceptance. A new paradigm. Which stage are we in now? If 3I Atlas was only the third visitor we noticed, statistics say there are thousands we missed. Faint messengers slipping through the dark each decade, some lifeless, some maybe listening as they pass. It challenges the oldest assumption in science. That observation is one way. Because the moment we detect something, something might detect us. In Tenerife, the operator's last line remains on the console. Object appears to pause. A simple observation, yet it may mark the moment humanity first witnessed deliberate motion from the deep. Or perhaps it was only a glitch in a system designed by fallible hands. The truth rests somewhere between data and dream. Tonight, as our telescopes sweep that same corridor of space, another object flickers on the edge of detection. Smaller, slower, following the same path. If it is coincidence, it will fade if it isn't. This story is only beginning. Somewhere in that corridor of space, a speck of reflected light drifts between worlds. We've measured its motion, traced its rhythm, argued its meaning, but not its purpose. In 10 days, telescopes will reopen on that same patch of sky. If the pattern returns, the debate ends, and the real investigation begins. Next episode, we follow the return path of 3I Atlas and the new signal whispering just behind it. Until then, stay curious and keep watching the dark.